Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Terry, and being since it is a new month, it is time for a monthly collection update. As usual, as I always say, I will try and make it quick. Some things are more worthy of noting than others, but I will try to at least pass my camera over everything. So I'm gonna start at the west end this time instead of the east end, which I usually do. So down here, I'll start with that right there. This is the dead stock off of my Angel's Trumpet. I have no idea what that Brassavola is that's on there. It's a NOID. Right above here in this area are a lot of plants that are warm, loving, high light liking plants. Dendrobiums mounted, my antenna dendrobiums. This is my nindii, one of my nindies that's mounted, still firm and green, hoping to soon see either roots or something coming out from the base there, new growth. Behind there, that's my den, Pua Ala, that lost some of the canes, the older canes, and some in the back, but you know, eventually I'll cut all that off and it'll still have that much left. This is the newest growth, so it's fine. It's attached to that mount. Behind here is a couple struggling things. Well, this is my Gatton Sunray, which is just hanging here. It had another growth. That's a new growth over there, which probably, I'm hoping that as I get it outside, it will start pushing out more growths. I lost that growth by being careless. It fell out of the pot, and then I tried to put it back in a pot, and so that took out that new growth. But it is a very healthy plant. It has never bloomed for me. This is considered like an heirloom. These bloom off of deciduous canes, so they pretty much get a dry rest with occasional mistings. Above here is my struggling, it's a Coelogyne, you know, it's the one that is the cooler growing cristata. You know, these are probably going to be heading out over the fence for compost. So that's all I'm going to talk about that. I will definitely keep this. I just have to figure out, I'll probably try to mount it on something since it is so big. Gatton Sunray. Down here are an assortment of cattleyas that I've repotted, and they have new growths. Some of them do. So those are sort of just resting here in a shady place until you know, I can get them outside and acclimate them you know, more into the sun. Right here is a Bulbophyllum that I got at Hauserman. It's the red one, red spots or something, deep dark spot. It's longiflorum. Sorry, that wasn't focused. Longiflorum dark spot. So I got that at Hauserman with the other ones that I got, and I mounted this one up. Above here is my Dendrochillum. That's not it. It is Magnum, I believe, or the big one, micranthum. That has new growths coming up. Looks kind of scraggly, but it will be just fine. It likes cooler weather. It's a cooler grower, so it likes this spot and this cool location, and those new growths should all produce spikes. Next to this is my discolor, which I think that new growth might be finished, but I keep these really wet. Next here is a recently repotted Bulbophyllum. That's WIlber Chang. That's another nindii. That's my gigantea. They like lots of light. That's my newly mounted Sato. That's kind of just hanging out there. That's just last week. New leaf on my cornu-cervi. That's the Chatellade. Down here, this is another antelope dendrobium. This is my Samarai, which is a cross between antennae and stratiotes, I believe. been in bloom for a long time, many months. It's got a new growth coming up right there that still has a leaf, and then on a back cane over here, there's another growth that I can't show it to you because it's just creeping up from the bottom. But back here is my Walisi, my Nemorea Walisii that's got that new growth coming up. I'm really excited to get this outside so I can get some rainwater, and hopefully that new growth will grow up big. Right in front here, this is Parquette, Dendrobium Parquette. As I look over, I'm not sure if that's going to push further. It does look like there's green popping out there. That could be another spike. There's another growth over there. This is a very vigorous plant. And there's another little growth coming up there. Right here is a newly repotted, that is my Paph crossed with Dendrochillum that has bloomed. But part of the plant had rotted, and I'm trying to save that. This is my Bulbophyllum gigantea that I got it at Nats in late summer, and it's got all those new growths coming up. Did not bloom for me. This is the latest growth. It has previously bloomed. As you can see, this is a division. So I need to, these are grown like a cymbidium, so I need to really get that out of the pot and get it into some fresh media. Behind there is a Bulbophyllum that's got some new growths peeking out under there. That has never bloomed for me. That is mean, endless love. And back over there is my struggling Angraecum that I've had in semi-hydro. Well, it's struggling because I sprayed it. It had scale, and now I'm sort of just leaving it to die, I guess, because I have other options, I suppose. That's Angraecum florentulum, which, because so before the phone call, I was saying that I had replaced that other florentulum Angraecum with this florentulum, and this is definitely very healthy. It's got new fans coming up. This is also a vining type. It's grown like a vanda. It's got some nice roots inside of the pot down in there. This gets a lot of water, and it sits on this tray where it gets extra humidity. Down there is a little seedling of my Distictum Arangus Distictum, and then there is a I don't know where the tag is, but that's an Amiziella Monticola, and this is a dead Amiziella Philippinense. And right here is my Bulbophyllum micranthum, which I am trying to rescue it. I think it's still alive. This is a spring bloomer though. Yeah, seems like the rhizome is good. And this is my, I just moved this down here to give it some more light and to pay more attention to it. This is a cross, Hodgkinsonii crossed with Atroviolaceum. This is a Laturia. And then in front here is a freebie that I got, Neophoenicia, well, I guess Vanda Phoenician. And here is a import that I got last year. It's Maxillaria rictii, which actually bloomed, and I'm just trying to, I think it's gonna be fine. Seems like that latest growth. So okay, and this is a new acquisition that I just got yesterday. And this is the Vandapira, not Vandapira, maybe it is Vandapira. Yeah, it's Vandapira, whatever the name of it is. There is a name for that, but it's Vandapira, little one, crossed with Sedera japonica. And those are the flowers. More to come. And as I'm talking about Angraecum florentulum, I might as well just pan on down here to this Angraecum florentulum that I just got yesterday. That is the flower, very, very fragrant, mostly at night and in the evening. But you can see compared to the plant that I just walked away from in this plant, truly spectacular. There's a bloom, spent bloom. There's a spent bloom up here, and of course down here. So I mean, that's 3 parts of the plants that have bloomed. Although this plant is capable of blooming at any time of the year. It's a species from, I think it's from the Comoros Islands. Okay, back over this way. These are plants that don't like so much sun, but they like warmth. And well, some of these I've just moved over here. This is my Dendrobium Bruce Gordon. It was sitting down that way, but I noticed that I think it might actually be trying to bloom. That looks like a spike trying to emerge in inflorescence. So like I said, this is Bruce Gordon. I'm not sure what, I forgot what the cross is, but I believe it's got Alexandri in it. This also is, they're all related. Flower like that. But Bruce Gordon is a little more green and it has hair on it. Laturia, but new growth coming up down there at the base. Does need a repot, but you know, it's doing okay. I'll maybe possibly repot it. This is my cross Laturia, that's convolutum crossed with biloculare, that bloomed all last winter and spring. So far I don't see any, but I do fully expect it to pop back to life. These like a lot of water, and I kind of have it sitting in water. Next to here is my Coelogyne multiflora, and it's just completing its rest, although it still gets watered once a week, but no fertilizer in the winter after, because it blooms late fall into the winter, and then I give it a little bit of a rest. And when I start to see new growths, then I will begin to water it more religiously and begin to fertilize it. But yeah, you can see it bloomed from those two canes in the back. These two, well, yeah, these two right here. Okay, and next to it is a Cattleya cross. It's a chocolate drop cross that I'm waiting for a new growth to come up from the base. Perhaps there is from the back, but I don't see it yet. But these are all waiting to go outside. And this is my Schomburgia, what is it? Undulata. Down there is a Brassavola. That's probably my Kiwani Mendelhall. I think that's what it is. And this is my Cimbadella cross, which is Rhodosticta, I believe. Rhodocilla, crossed with Falcagera, if that is going to focus. But that's what it is. Nice size. This is a blooming size plant. These also grow like a cymbidium. Down here is my big Memoria Fred Tompkins. No, Miss Smaller. Yeah, Fred Tompkins. Memoria Fred Tompkins. And I believe it's got a couple growths coming up. Yeah, there's a growth down there. And it should put up another one. Yeah, I see it. Down there, yeah, there's the growth. So, that bloomed last summer from two canes. Over here are my moisture and high humidity, and these only get rainwater throughout the year. Whereas in the winter, you know, I tend to just use the hose, so that's just out of the spigot. But going around from the back, I have a couple of my Pescatorias. Back here, this is Pescatoria laymanii, and it's got that new growth. It's got roots going into the media. And then I've got my other Pescatoria over here. These are both species, and this is Serina. You can see those new growths that are coming up around the plant and the fans, so it's pretty healthy. These sit in trays of water. It's not sitting directly on the water, but there may be some, but they get extra humidity, and that's the point. And the moisture is around the roots. It's available to them. Right here is a little seedling of Cimbadella pardalina that I got from France. It was flown in here, so it's still acclimating. It's been maybe a couple months. So that's a species which is half, no, maybe it's not half of that. Maybe it's, yeah, I think it is gotta be half, because I believe there's only maybe 2 or 3 Cimbadella species. So I believe that is half of that. So you can see that that is a baby compared to that plant. right there. Okay, going on around, this is my Sergiara, which looks pretty bad. Euchosara canary, that's what it is, Sergiara. And didn't bloom, but it did still put up some nice growth. I have just moved this in the last few months to try to, because it was sitting under the LED light a little bit too close and it's browned up. But I haven't seen any new growths under there yet. In the middle here, this is my Daiichia glauca, which is a cooler intermediate grower. And these glauca leaves are very susceptible to the brown spots, which are the black spots, which are caused by, you know, when I occasionally give it some regular water. And that's, you see that black spot right there, that is what that is caused by. And if I would continue to give it just water out of the tap, those spots would eventually spread to the whole plant. So, and this is the bloom season. They bloom in the spring through the summer. So there was a bloom on the plant that somehow looked like it was eaten off by something. It was over here. You can see the stalk right there. And in front of this is an epidendrum cross that I just recently repotted, and it's Rene Marquez crossed with Epipaniculata. And there are some new growths coming up. So yay, didn't bloom for me. It did bloom last year, but this likes a lot of moisture. You can see these are in sphagnum moss. And this is an import that I got. This is Jamelia. Here's the tag. This is Jamelia punctata. And here is the plant. As I said, lots of moisture. Down here is my struggling Dendrobium. I won't even bother to pronounce it, but there is another little growth coming up there. I'm still struggling with what culture to give this plant. Right here is my, this is a Bulbophyllum. That's a recent repot. That's Frank Smith, that's a cross. And then here's my Gigantea alba. And then next to it is my Epigeneum. That's my Treacherionum, and that's the latest growth, which is formed a bulb, but it looks very small. So I'm hoping to, I'm gonna have to get this out of this and probably put it on. I'm gonna try to find some tree fern somewhere or something that this will be able to sink its roots in and stay that way for a while. Down here are some Brassavola hybrids that I am gonna just throw outside. They're struggling to do anything, and right at this moment I don't care, and I'm just gonna throw them outside and hope for the best for them. Back here is another Pescatoria cross, although it is crossed with something else, and I can't remember. But the tag is right there. It's Kiefersteinia tolomalensis crossed with what is that? Bolea ecuadorana, which is actually Pescatoria. It's a pseudonym, but it's doing well. I got it in bloom, and I see there's another growth coming up right there. Fans are still looking healthy, not a lot of browning, so that's good. Right here is my brand new Epi Ilens that I featured on my Orchid a Day video. It's got multiple spikes on it, even a spike on top of the stem, which is unusual. I've never seen that. Down there, tucked in there, that's my Coelogyne Bandastylus. That's where it sits. I'm gonna pot that up. Have to pot that up so I can keep it hydrated. That is looks like a mess, but it's not. This is the Stanhopeia leetzii. These get a complete dry rest, no water whatsoever. These like shade. There is a new growth coming up. That is a new growth, and there's another one that's right there. So it's okay. Above here, this is my Stanhopeia. I think it's Charlesworthii. Actually, I think it's a cross. It's Genishana crossed with Shuttleworthii, I believe. And there are new growths coming up. So it's doing okay. That likes a dry rest in the winter. Here's another nindii, Dendrobium nindii, that has roots coming out. So hopefully I'll see another growth. This is my Bulbon. This is now Dendrobium munificum. And this is a recent repot over the winter, and so I'm expecting, this is the latest growth that has suffered, and that was the reason why I repotted it. I'm not seeing any new growths yet, but I am hoping to soon, because I still think that it's healthy. This is definitely last year's growth. That's the year before last. That's still firm. So I am still positive about that. Down here is a species Eranthes that I think it has recovered. This is my Ramosa. This likes a lot of water. And it likes shady conditions. But as you can see, there's a fan coming out of the top, and I believe that that is pushing out too. So, and when I look at the bark, there are roots down in there. So like I said, this gets dunked every day. And speaking of that, above here, back here, this is my grandiose shooting stars Eranthes, which is half Ramosa, which I just showed you. And there's a flower. The other half of this is grandiflora. And there's another spike right here. And as I've said before, and these are angricoids, if you didn't know, all in the same family as angraecums. You can see the semblance in the flower, but as long as these remain green, they can bloom sequentially. You can see there's another bud that's coming right after that. If it will, well, it's not going to sit still because that's the nature of the plant. But yeah, there's a bud right there, but you can see how it could be a ghost-like when it's covered in many inflorescences that have flowers on the end with these little ghost translucent flowers. Stunning, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And it might have a fragrance, but Ilens is a nice thing, and I'm very happy to have another one in my possession. And there's 3 new growths that I pointed out right there, very healthy. And here's the 3rd new growth that has an inflorescence developing, which will end up developing like this. But those flowers are spent. Okay, right above here is my Phalaenopsis cornu-cervi Shadowlod version variety. This is red, and there's a new leaf coming up out the top, which is nice. That is my Dendrobium Alexandri, which is a species, Laturia. That's a new growth right there. That's really tiny. Right next to here is a species. This is my Coelogyne. I believe it's falcata. And it's got new growths coming out all over the place. There's one and there's one. Very healthy plant. Gets dunked every day. Those are all the roots. Actually, I'm just gonna dunk it right now because it's been a couple days. There. Loves that. That's a glaucous type plant. The leaves are very glaucous. Down here is my struggling, which I just put angel's or dragon's blood on it. And you can see, I'm not sure whether that's, I'm hoping that that's not rot up there, but the dragon's blood was down in this area. I'm still trying to keep the roots moist because this is, after all, fairly recent mount. But trying not to mess with it too much. But that's, I didn't say that's my Dimorph Orchis lowii. And here's my other Dimorph Orchis lowii, which is doing just brilliant. It's got a new leaf coming out at the top, and I believe the little Akiki down there has a new leaf as well. The roots seem to be very healthy inside there. Up here, this is my, not Renanthera, it's Trichoglatus philippinens, and I really need to get this outside because I am not, you know, as the temperatures warm up, it needs more water, and I need to be dunking it right now or watering it, but because those roots need hydrated. But it does get every day or every other day water at least. I'm not even going to talk about these because they're just used as hangers right now. Back there is a Bulbophyllum, I believe that's longiflorum or longissimum. I believe it's longissimum. Right next to it is a Dendrochillum species, that's striolatum, and then that's a little Akiki that fell off, so that's another plant. I think that's striolatum. Yeah, striolatum. And then this is my Chrysis Maritza, which is a hybrid. And this is the latest new growth over the winter. Still looking for signs of another new growth. These usually flower in the summer. It's never flowered for me though. Behind there is my Ascocentrum Ampelasium, which just finished blooming, as you saw, and I just got that from Hauserman at their open house. Back over this way, down here, this is my Dendrobium, which is a species. It likes cooler, but it still likes a bit of sun with some shading from the afternoon, but it likes it cooler and more moist. And so it's sitting down here kind of maturing all these new growths. They do have sheaths, but who knows, you know, that they're typical Laturia. Who knows what they're going to do? They won't show you their cards until they do. In front of it is another cross that didn't fare so well to me over the winter. These canes look a little bad, but I'm hoping to see new growth soon. This is my Joyce Kelly Dendrobium, which is Johnsonii crossed with Spectabile. Next to this is my, Enanthalea banana split, which has two new growths coming up from the other side. Next to that, that's my Bulbophyllum mean Garuda, which looks terrible right now, but it's a recent repot, so I'm hoping that it'll snap back soon. As I move around here, that's my adorable upwind Bulbophyllum, which that flower just is going over, and it's got two more that are in development. Well, actually, three more, really. And up here, this is a Phalaenopsis cross that is just struggling. But is that a new leaf? Yeah. So hopefully I'm doing okay. This is a cross between, well, there it is. Celebensis crossed with Equestris. But I need to really do some research to treat that better. That's a rescue. Right here is my Schornorchis gemata junkifolia. Junkifolia, that's what it is. And you can see there's the bloom spike from where it bloomed many months ago. Water daily, of course. Down below here, this is my Epiraniferum, which is right in front, which has sheaths and growths that are still maturing right down here. A lot of this last year's sheaths have pushed forward and are probably going to maybe put out more flowers, maybe not. But yeah, looks like that's pushing forward. And there's a sheath right there. And they're all very stiff, so we shall see. I'm sure that we will get flowers soon. I'm always a little later than Todd. And in front of this is my Dendrobium Memoria Dippernici, yeah. And it had these two new growths. You wouldn't be able to tell because of the leaves, but these are two new growths with sheaths on them. And back there is my Epi Green Hornet that's just hanging out, maturing those sheaths. From the winter time. I just recently repotted that. You can see there's a new growth over there. Doing well. Up here right in front, I have a couple of Phalaenopsis, and these get a lot of moisture. This is my, well, that's the tag, Phalaenopsis pink something. It's not the Jai Ho pink girl, it's Yafan whatever that says. I'll put the name in the description. And over here is Phalaenopsis joy spring canary, which is so fragrant, so fragrant. Behind here is what is that? Siam Jade, is that what that's? Yeah, Siam Jade sweet fragrance, that's what it is. And there's a new growth that's right there. Hopefully that'll get big and bloom. This is a Dendrobium cross. What is it? Heck. Here we go. That would be, oh, Hawaii Spectacular. Yeah, I had Hawaii Spectacular for years, and then it just, what happened was I divided it and gave the good parts away, and I kept the bad parts. Okay, so there is, looks pretty nice, strong growth, steady, reaching up and up and up. It is straight. I love that, reaching up. It's not all wonky. That is my Penny Carota crossed with Jungle Gem. Behind there, that is in semi-hydro, that is one of my Volcano Queen hybrids. I can't remember which one that is, but you know, it was a seedling when I got it, and you can see the growths are progressively getting bigger. You can see that one in the middle there that's standing high above the others. Here is a Phalaenopsis right here that ever since I've got it, it's just continually putting out buds. You can see there's another spike over that way that's got buds on it. That's a big lip. Down there is a little bit of a rescue foul that you can see how this part of the plant rotted, and I'm saving that one over there. This bloomed for me for years, and that's the cross. I think it's probably like Cascade Creek or something like that now, but that's what it originally was. Way back there, that is my African Beauty, the long tune African Beauty. I don't see any new growth yet. I am hoping, praying. Right in front of there, there's another Volcano Queen. This is Volcano Queen Fireball, I believe. There's a new growth right there. It's in semi as well. Right here is my Den. What is that? I know what that is, but I forgot, so I'll look at the tag. Yeah, Falciparum. It did bloom for me last winter. I got this in Italy and brought it back. I'm gonna probably have to break down and get another one if it doesn't put up any growths. Did put up a new growth last year, but I haven't seen one yet. Back there, that's my Area spicata. That's maturing a lot of new growths around the edge of the plant. So I hope to maybe see spikes soon. That is a spring bloomer. And down here is my Den, Violet, what is it, Velvet Memory, something like that. It's the very dark one that I love, that I've been trying to coax into bloom since I got it. It's finally putting up a new growth right there. Violet Melody something. Right here in front of it is a Cattleya that's got a nice strong new growth on it right there. That's Memoriam Balmoris. And in front there is my newly repotted Foul Spiceriana. And then here's some little seedlings, but there's new growths coming up. That's Nodosa Cross. And then in front here are my still in flower Dendrobium Johnsonii species right there. And next to it is an Epidendrum laterale, which finally a new growth down there. Okay, moving on down here, this is my Epidendrum, no, this is my Angraecum eclerianum, and it's got a new growth here. There's the plant, it's in rock. All of those arrow roots have to be misted daily, kept moist. That's the source of the nutrient to the plant primarily. So in front of that is my roughly Rufus, I believe that's what it's called. but it's an encyclia cross, and you can see it's in bud. Where beyond that is still in flower. That's my Dendrobium Wedding Valley. And behind that is my EPLC. Well, there's the tag, and you can see there's 2 new growths right there, which right to the left of it is my Great George Kennedy cross with crossed Eburnum, I believe. That's Akiki, and then here's my Linford White Beauty. And then behind here is a tray of, that's my newly repotted Maxillaria Shrinkiana. Back there is a dead Bulbophyllum. I think that used to be Fantasia. And then here is another Epidendrum Wedding Valley. Down here is my Phalaenopsis hieroglyphica with nice root tips, nice plants. I'm hoping to see inflorescence. That's my Angraecum didieri. This right here is that's another lime cooler, BLC lime cooler. It's a beautiful flower. Actually, I think this is a lime cooler as well. I know it is. That's a lime cooler. That's just bare root in there. Pretty sure. Let's see what's that say. Oh, that's Booth Lee Venice. Okay, my bad. That's beautiful as well. Okay, back over here. This is Angraecum Joyce Stewart, which is a cross between Scatenum and, well, Cucullatum and Cucullatum crossed with Scatenum, I believe, maybe, but I forget. I'll put it in the description, but you can see the little spur forming, and even down there, that little one looking so cute. So there'll be 3 flowers, and these are sequential, so possibly more blooms to follow. Right next to here is my Hirella recticala, which probably is getting too much sun, but I don't see spikes yet. Hopefully I will. There's another plant in there on the side. Right here is it's basically Volcano Trek. I got this was sent to me from somewhere, Italy, maybe France, and it almost bloomed last year. I am trying to hopefully get it to put up another growth. I think it's doing okay, even though it's only got 1 surviving pseudobulb. Behind there is my Memoria Vitalis. As you can see, Limelight. Did not bloom for me last year, or this past year, but I hope to get something this year. It's got a couple growths that are coming out and nice roots. As you can see, they're nice green root tips in there. Right over here is a couple of Brassavolas. That's a nodoscent, and that is Petite Stars, I think. What is this? Yeah, Petite Stars. And there are roots, and there's the new growth. That's my Fragrande, which that's probably the oldest plant in my collection now. That has been repotted recently, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. In front here is, I need to move this down further as well. This is Wonder Nishi crossed with Dendrobium Spider Lilies. All need more light because it's coming into bloom season, and I think it's going to be pushing soon anyway. But I'm going to move it to a higher light. These have been recently repotted, well, during the winter at some point. And down here is another semi-hydro EPLC plant, which is lime sherbet crossed with little stars. Lots of roots going down, so hopefully I'll see blooms someday. That's my Maxillaria tenuifolia. 1 bloom left. This is my Angraecum subulatum. Right there, I have sitting right in water, and this is just a little plantlet that just popped off the plant. And this is actually doing better than the mother plant. And it's sitting directly almost in water, and it looks very healthy. So I'm glad that, you know, the big plant, you all remember the big plant that I got of that ended up blooming, and then I dropped it, and this separated from the main plant that used to actually sit over here. It's been moved. It's not dead, but it's been moved. But my point is, at least I have this, because this looks healthy. and when they're healthy, they do well. Here is a recovery Phalaenopsis. It's very pretty though, so I'm not going to lose that one. Right next to this, that's my Maxillaria sanguinea. It's Brassavola that's coming alive. This is my Darwin's orchid with a new fan coming out at the top. Good, a new leaf. This is my fire wings with the new growth. It's got some nice roots inside the pot. And back here, that's my Grande, which was a repot that I did on a video. And this is a Barbatum, Paph Barbatum that it's not done anything. Next to here, I think that's my Sucaculii or Spicery. It's one of those. But they're just paths that are just marinating. Here's my mock shell. Still smelling very fragrant. And next to it is a newly repotted Phalaenopsis. And where is the tag at? It's got to be in here. Come on now. I will have to find that today before I forget which one it is. That's Jowl something. Anyway. This is Stephanie Takasaki semi-hydro. Hopefully we'll see, well, yeah, hopefully I will see a new growth, but at least the roots are going into the leca. And this is another Stephanie Takasaki right here that is not in semi, and there is a new growth right over there. So that's good. I might give one of these away. Raphael, I know I might give one to him. Raphael. This is Paph Charsworthii that bloomed last fall, and it's got these two new growths. This is my I think it's Densiflorum. This was an import that I got from Brazil. Yeah, Densiflorum. It's still green, but I just don't have much hopes for it. I wish that it would put out a new growth. That's an import, as it was this one from the same place. This is my Prostechia Skeptra, and it's doing pretty well. It did bloom. Right here is my Jamelia fragrans that's mounted. This needs to be watered. This right here is my failed Ancestrochylis Rothschildianum that had been remounted or mounted up on that piece of tree fern. I just think it's dead. And that is that cross nodosa, which struggles with scale. I mean, you can kind of see some of it right there and there. In front of this is my struggling Den sulcatum. I mean, now I'm looking at browning. I've never seen the browning until now. This is how it's grown for me, just one on top of the other. And I just don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Right in front here, that's a Phalaenopsis. There's the tag, I believe it's a Kingfisher hybrid. Yeah, with Sogoshito. And then here are some of my Trichocentrums in front here, as well as here's my Trichocentrum tigrina right there with those new growths still coming out, which is good. The more green one, and then there's that one that's right there. It's more purplish. I really wish I could get these outside, but next week I'll probably do. That's my Trichocentrum lanceanum. And then here's another Trichocentrum. This is a cross. Right there. Up here is the last of the withering away blooms of my Den Goldenaya. Still has a slight fragrance to it though, but definitely going out. I was painting this on my channel. Actually, I was painting it. I'm still painting it, but I had to take a picture of it because I can no longer paint it from, not in situ, but because the flowers are withering, and those are just some encyclias hanging out. Hopefully I'll see some spikes, and those are more Trichocentrums up there. Those two are Stacyi, and here's another Tigrina right there. This is a trichocentrum right here. This is nudum, but this cane, these like dryish winters, and still looks alive, but just doesn't look like it's doing well. Moving back down this way, this is my Angraecum cross. This is Christmas Clouds Cradle, which is Lymphoid White Beauty crossed with Magdaleni, and that's Lymphoid White Beauty. And I'll show you my Magdaleni later. Back over this way is, how did I get over there? But anyway, back over this way, this is my venosa, my foul venosa. It's a species, and it's got a spike there, hopefully. Here is a new acquisition that I got yesterday. This is Dendrobium Andre Millar, which is a very prominently used orchid in hybridization for laturias. Very long-lasting flower. Convolutum is what comprises convolutum times atriobulacum, I believe that's what that is. Both of those are heavily used as far as hybridization, as far as with laturias. Right up in front here, this is my Rhyncholalia glauca, which has a sheath that has got something filling up in it, which is very exciting. This is another glauca that I mounted in the winter, which looks terrible, but it's slowly recovering. You can see at the base down there, there's roots and a new growth. So never give up. In front here, this is a Galliandra. There's the name, and this is also from an import from Colombia, I believe. There's the new growth. These are grown like catasetums, and I've been slowly giving it a little more water as the weeks go by, as the roots go down and down and down into the pot. As you can see, even though it's not focused, you can still catch those roots down there. So these bloom in the fall, late spring, summer, fall, from the tips, from dangly nice little dainty flowers. This is my Tampensis alba, Encyclia Tampensis alba. Right here is another one of those Sergerar auras, and this is a recovering Phalaenopsis. Okay, down here, this is my Prosthecia bacalis, which has these sheaths. So I am fully expecting these sheaths to start to fill up, because I know that 2 years ago when I got this, or 3 years at Andy's Orchids, it was blooming after May, June, around then. This is very fragrant, upside down white flower, single flower, but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Next to this is my Coelogyne confusa, which has lots of nice new growths coming up around the plant. This is a recent repot. And this is also a recent repot. That's my Paph green hornet. And there's a Phalaenopsis. I've already been through these plants. Maybe that's how I got down here. Well, I did forget my Ben Berlina, which is right here. And it's got new growths coming up all around. I don't think there are any flower spikes. I had hoped. I just think they're growths. Back over here, we're about halfway done. These are some Cattleyas that have been resting all winter. That's my C. Leodoglassa. This was a project plant for Orchaholics a few years ago, and it's got a new growth. I always struggled with that plant. This is my Judith Hauserman that just bloomed in the fall, and there's a new growth as I see coming up. Down here are a couple of recent Brassavola hybrids. This is actually Hippodama, I think, and this is an epidendrum cross that bloomed last winter for me, and it's put up 2 new growths. Well, there's another new growth here, and then there are actually 2 more coming up at the base. That's my struggling Epidendrum ciliare. This is a Laturia. That's my Dendrobium aberrans with the new growth coming up right there. Next to the aberrans is my Leptotes bicolor, which is the alba, and these spikes have been just progressing, seems like forever. And there's another one down there. That right here is another Brassavola. That's an Encyclia. What is this? This is an Encyclia cross, I believe. Yeah, that's what does that say? Standard setter. And that's a piece of radiata. Right here is a cross. And where is the tag? It is that Louisia thailandica crossed with Phalaenopsis linkakii. That did bloom for me. This is another trichocentrum. Here is my Frederixianum. It is completely yellow now, although it did have more of an orangish tint in the lip. You can kind of see it on the back of that petal, how it was more orangey on that sepal. That's a species, Frederixianum. Down here is another trichocentrum, that's Superbum. And then here is that, which is still in bloom, looking really nice. That is LC something. Here's the tag, LC Tokyo Magic crossed with Patanara Martha Clark. Okay, down here, this is my newly, or just finished blooming Arangus cross Elro crossed with Modesta. There's a spent spike, and these are the Phalaenopsis, or the Bulbophyllums that I got at Hauserman's at their spring show. They're showing new growths, as you can see. Let me see, what else have I missed? This up here is something that I am fully expecting to bloom at some point. That's my Stanhopea Yolanda Breck. Got that from Equigenera a few years ago, and it's got some new growths coming up, but it is root bound. That's the most important thing. So I really should be seeing flowers, and I'm very surprised that I haven't yet. I don't want to miss this up here. This is my, well, I'm gonna have to go back that way anyway. Can't believe I'm still on this half of the greenhouse. But oh well, I'll just split the video in half, and well, no, I'm not going to. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this now, because I hate having videos that are over an hour. I just don't think people wanna see that. Okay, anyway, I'll just do it, and whatever happens, happens. This is my BC daffodil, of course, that just finished. Back over this way, that's my Sogo David Peachy. Up here is my species Dendrobium, that's uniflorum. Really nice. It's got a nice growth down there. This is the one they actually yellowed off and the leaves came off, but since then it's been okay. Back there is my Paph honey. Right here is, this is my, oh, I know what that is. It's, yeah, Fuchs orange. And it's got new growths coming out back there. This is recently repotted. This back here is not doing anything. It's my Wine-Eye Leopard crossed with Why Not. This is a Barcaria species. It's got new growth coming up from the base. No, that's the root. Let me see. Yeah, that's a root, but it's got a new leaf. So these are some of my Phalaenopsis that I'll just briefly touch on. That is not this, but this is that Formosa Dream. This is my Dendrobium Samarai that just finished blooming. These are various Brassavola hybrids, Brassavola species up there. That's my Martiana. This is Pure Ardii. That's my nodosa crossed with summer spots. This is Gardneri. This is my Mickey Mouse right here. That's another Phalaenopsis, and this is my cornu-cervi, the fantastic one. Right here in front here, that's my Angraecum species. That's my longiflorum. That's a recent repot, and I'm still hoping that it survived my repot. I am hoping, fingers crossed. That's my new acquisition that everybody's seen so many times. You know, that Peter Lynn has another cross name for. The only reason why I'm showing this is it did just finish blooming, but this, I don't know if it's gonna push forward. You can see there's a sheath there, and this is the latest growth that is maturing. It's very nice, so we'll see what happens. Back here, that's my Paph Henryanum, and this is Paph Henryanum crossed with Heleni. Right here is a big fat bud on little cattleya that is a rebloom for me. The name of it is right through there. It's really deep red. Only one flower. I think I had 2 flowers last year. And this is my area right here. This is, why don't I know the name? Coronaria. And this is the latest, no, the latest growth is here. And there is a sheath in there. I think for me it bloomed in the fall last year, but I think it might have been in the fall into winter, so maybe it's past its bloom period, I don't know. But yeah, just a bunch of assorted Brassavolas up there. I know that one might be, what is this? Flagellaris subuliflora. Oh, there's a nice green root tip right there. That's actually my Angraecum infundibulara. I need to, that's a species I need to really do a better, take that off and tie it up better there. And this is my Nigelia pupirata. That's a species. What else? Here, right here, that's my Coelogyne Shin-Yi. That's got some growths that are coming up. That's a recent repot. Okay, and I did show you this, my Florentulum, which is so fragrant. Down here, that's my Coelogyne pandorata. Hopefully I will see new growths coming up. And this is that nice epidendrum cross that bloomed all winter. It does have new growths coming up. So I will probably be repotting that at some point soon. There's another one on the other cane back in the back there. Right here is another Chisis. This is my Chisis aurea that is recovering, but it's got this new growth right there that's doing well. Right here are my epidendrum species. That's diffusum, keeping them moist and keeping them alive. This is my Gongora grossa, which has lots of new growths coming. And here is my Schilleriana, that's where it sits. Not much else over this way. Little encyclia across here, that's my Prismatocarpa crossed with Brassavola something. Brassavola and Encyclia Brassavola, that's what it is. And that's a little Kiki that pulled off of that Falcata that was back over that way. Here is my, okay, well hopefully I was recording, but this is my Encyclia Marii. It's got new growth starting, and I believe there is a sheath in there, so I guess it could still possibly bloom, who knows. That's a newly potted up import, and I can see there are roots coming out, so that's gonna be great. That's Encyclia fragrans. What else? This is my Dendrobium Findleyanum, which has a couple of new growths. There's a new growth up there. There's a new growth, but these are just Kikis. This right here is Cattleya from Carter and Holmes. Sea Breeze. That's what that is. I failed to show you this. This is my Phalaenopsis valentii, which is doing really well after I repotted it. It's got that spike right there that's got buds. It's got that new spike. And over here, it's got that one. So that should be fragrant. Valentia, I think it smells like raspberries. This up here is another species of mine. This is my brand new Marii, which is love Marii. Finally got a nice Marii. And it's got a spike on it under here, which appears to be elongating if you ask me. That's what these Phalaenopsis tend to do when it is their bloom season, because they can hold their spikes forever. But when their season comes up, their spikes tend to pop into life, and then you can see the tip will begin to green up a lighter green and will begin to push forward. Well, I'm kind of seeing it right there, but maybe it's wishful thinking, but I do think that it is settling into that new pot, that new just recently mounted, or recently potted up. I'm sorry, I can't even talk. Okay, down here on this cart, first of all, down there, that's my what is it? Dendrochillum, that's what it is. Tenellum. I probably shouldn't even be growing that. That's an intermediate cool grower, but it's still alive. It gets a little bit more moisture there, a little more dappled sun from the LED light that's up there. So, but it's still alive. Still alive. Back there is my very sad looking Den Harveyanum. So that's just waiting to die. I guess here's some things. This is that is a encyclia, which you can see has a new growth right there. It's Proscilia, that's what it is, Abigail. And then these are two that are in semi-hydro. That, I didn't really show that so well. There's an area that's got a new growth coming on it. That's my hyacinth. But over here, this is another Dendrochillum that I love. That's Kurani. I like to give it a little bit more shade because I think all that browning is from getting too much sun. Right in front here is my Prostechia nitida. No, livida, that's what it is, livida. And I've been showing you that spike. There's the spike right there. And it did just finish blooming off of these bulbs. And it has another bulb that's maturing. It's right here. So we'll see. Nothing really happening, but there are like new growths happening on some of these. This is very just looking forward to what these are going to do, because the growths are just so healthy on them. Especially, you know, like I think this has a sheath on it. Yeah, there's a sheath right there. This is my Cochleata crossed with Nodosa. That's a Peter Lynn cross. But moving on down, yeah, this is my Aria Javanica right here. It's got that new growth, and it's got a whole nother section of plant that's kind of just hanging here, and I really need to do something with that. But I don't know if that's actually going to be a spike or if that's just going to be another new growth. We will see. It's definitely bloom size, and it has bloomed before, but it's been several years. Up here is my one last flower on my Paph, Lady Rothschild, which is Lady Elizabeth crossed with Rothschildianum. Down next to that is, of course, my Maxillaria tenuifolia, the Yamada clone, which is yellow, and it's more fragrant than tenuifolia to me. Next to that is, I believe this is the EPLC, I can't even remember now. I did remember what it is, and I need to put a tag on it. I know what the name of it is when I see it. But it's a Encyclia cross. Not banana split. It's similar to that punani butter or banana butter. Anyway, I'm rattling. This is Dendrobium Susie Gallus that just finished blooming. Up above here are just some Cattleyas mounted orchids. I'll just say mounted orchids that have wintered up there. That's in a micranthus right there. That's just a baby. Here's buds here that are on this encyclia. Judith Ross times Randy, Jamaican. I need to figure out the tag on this plant. And this is another encyclia. And then this is my canariensis that bloomed. But yeah, my encyclia parkinsonianum, which I'm still waiting on doing something. Back over this way. This is my Laelia Lundi. Some more encyclias up there. Of course, that did not do so well. That was that Phalaenopsis schilleriana. So I can toss that. Down here, that's that brassia that has those two new growths. And these are kind of just recovering. That's my Paph St. Swithin, if you can believe that. And this is my Coelogyne usitana, which has a nice new growth right there. Up here, this is my Stanhopea Michael Lawyer that has growths coming up. Nice roots. And this is Dendrobium cross. This is polyanthum crossed with anosmum. It's over. Up here is my Eranthis caudata. Nice root right there. Yeah, that is a root. Had to check because they can produce their spikes from that area, and their spikes can cascade over the edge, like that other Eranthis that I showed you down there, which is where is it? I just saw it. It's right there. Grandiose. New growths. A Bulbophyllum down here, that's my Dinkanico, newly repotted, just hanging out there. This is my new purchase, my Distincta Erangus, which has those spikes in here. There's a spike, there's a spike, and there's a spike. Newly planted Aurantiaca. Nice new root on that David Sander. This is a new acquisition. This is my Angraecum compactum, which is mounted, as you can see. Down here are just some assorted Brassavolas. Up here is a cross. This is a Dockrilla cross that bloomed in the wintertime. More Brassavola hybrids, my Crazy Arachno, and that's George Tyler. Around on this side is newly opened Angracoid. This is Sertorchis. There is actually a name for it, but it's a cross between, well, I'll just show it to you. Acuata, there's the name. Very, very nice. Is night fragrant. And nice thing. Down below here are just various Cattleyas and Cyclias. That Cattleya is waking up. You can see the new growths. That's a Akiki off of a Kingianum. This is my Paph Chewy Hue Dancer. Up here, this is a new acquisition. That's my Kiwani Mendenhall crossed with Yellowbird, and then right below here is almost about to open up. This is my Grammatophyllum stapuliflorum, which has those spikes, and then there's more spikes coming over here, and two more up there. So that's going to be a nice thing, even though it's a smelly thing as well. Up here is just encyclias and just different things that had been resting in the winter. My citrina, Encyclia citrina, which I guess is Eucalyptus citrina. It's got that new growth there. It's not gonna bloom, of course. I wish it did, but it's not. That's a Coelogyne right there. I believe that is, no, this is Falcata. The other one that I was showing you back there is Orchid. And this right here is that Angraecum that I was saying. You see how dried up it is and how brown that it is. But you can see it's just in bare root, so they need lots of water. And I probably should be giving it a little bit more, but by the time I realized it was like this, and I'm gonna put it outside and I hope that it will bounce back once it gets there, but right now it's just a mess. Above here, I'll just show you this again, how it's coming into this new leaf mount and liking it, that big fat root there. What else over here? This is my Dendrochillum that just finished blooming, the Schoenina. And really over here, some of these encyclias look better than others. That's another Falcata right there that actually looks better than the mother plant. All right, so I was looking at these sad encyclias, some better than others, but I hope that they will recover once they get outside. This encyclia is doing very well. This one in my hand, which I believe it said it was in, what did it say, nursery rhyme something, but there is a spike right there. And right below there, that's my BLC urchin right there. And as I come down this way, it's this plant, and the tag is right here. There's a new growth right there. This right here is my really sad looking Digbyana, the latest. It had 2 new growths, and there was the other growth that just flopped over. Down there is my that's my Shilo token, Akiko. Right here is my Den cross. There's a florum cross with Farmerai that I had almost given up on this plant that it was going to bloom, but something is telling me that it is about ready to push forth, because these little nubbins just act to me like they are doing something. They're progressing day after day that I come out here, and maybe it's just my own wishful thinking, but I will keep you posted. In front here is my Borinjana, Cattleya Borinjana. Right, and over here, this is my Angraecum Magdalena species. What else is up here that I can show you before I'm done? This is a species right here. This is my Epidendrum placata, no, Encyclia placata, and some of the growths aborted, but some of them are fine. And that was a new repot. Right next to it is my EPLC Charlie Brown, which has that really nice healthy growth. And up here, of course, it's that my problem chocolate drop time Skinneri that I have to water very frugally, or I have to wait until the growths get to be a certain height, and that's when I water it, or else the growths will blast and the roots will die off. This is my Epidendrum, no, that's this one, Shin-Yi, with that nice new growth, the nice roots coming. This is recently repotted. This is my species Epidendrum Stanfordianum, waiting on it to do something. And right next to this is Cattleya Down, that's what it is. Okay, so I'll just place that like that. But anyway, this is, well, I was showing you that, the cross, Jungle Spots times Mark Jones, and it does have a bud right there, and a nice new growth over there. Again, wanting to put them outside. Here, of course, are recently repotted plants. Well, it was repotted in 2019. It's my Clandii, 2 new growths, and this is another, this is a Guatemalan, no, this is an Aurantiaca. And I said a Clandii, these are Aurantiacas. These are both yellow varieties. And besides the plant that went down, I think that that's pretty much my update. Although this is my not my chocolate drop. This is my Bactea grape wax that I can see now has a new growth there, which is great. Bactea grape wax is Utata. I think it's crossed with Utata crossed with Bograngiana. So I'm happy to see a new growth. And last but not least, up above here is my Laelia anceps. And you can see there's a new growth there. And as I move around on this side of the plant, there are two more new growths, and you can see the roots. So yeah, that's pretty much my update for May 2020, guys. Hopefully everybody is well. Hopefully that wasn't too long. I know it was, but I apologize fully. And thanks for watching. Enjoy your orchids, guys. Bye.